What if fire had never been our ally? Imagine a world where nights were eternal, without warmth to challenge the cold and without light to break the darkness. A world where the glow of the stars would be our only companion, and humanity would remain huddled in the shadows, like a frightened animal trapped in its own existence. Without fire, how would we have protected ourselves from the predator lurking nearby? How would we have cooked the food that shaped our bodies and minds? Our history, as we know it, might never have happened. Fire was more than a tool. It was a turning point, a milestone that pulled us away from instinct and brought us closer to reason. But without it, what would we have become? Let's start with the basics. Fire gave us warmth, yes, but it also gave us something deeper. Time. Before fire, much of human energy was spent simply surviving, hunting, fleeing, chewing raw foods that took hours to digest. With fire, we transform meat and tubers into quick, nutritious meals, allowing our minds to wander beyond survival. Without it, our nights would have been too long, and our time too short. And the human mind? Without fire, perhaps our brains would never have grown so large. Science suggests that cooking food was one of the driving forces behind the evolution of the human brain. With more energy available in less time, our ancestors had the luxury to think, imagine, and create. Without fire, we might have been entirely different creatures, smaller, less curious, more tied to instinct. Without heat to forge tools, iron and steel might never have emerged from the earth. Without those alloys, what worlds would have remained out of reach? Without fire, there would be no wheels and machines, no railroad tracks, no steam engines. Our industrial revolution would be a distant mirage, our journey to the moon an impossible fantasy. And what about human relationships? Sitting around the flames, our ancestors told stories, shared knowledge, and created culture. Fire united us in ways perhaps no other natural force could have. It turned the cave into a home, the group into a community, the community into a civilization. Without it, our connections would have been colder, more distant, lonelier. Even so, humanity has a unique ability to adapt. What if, even without fire, we had found another way? Necessity has always been an unrelenting teacher. Perhaps we would have discovered ways to keep warm without flames, to illuminate without combustion, to forge without smelting. Perhaps the progress we know would have come from another source, slower, more fragile, but still ours. In the end, fire is more than a discovery, it is a metaphor for the human spirit, a spark that refuses to be extinguished, even on the darkest nights. It reminds us that, just as wood transforms into light and heat, we too are capable of transcending our limitations, turning the raw material of existence into something greater. Something eternal. Something human. Without fire, perhaps we would never have left the caves, but it's also possible we would never have created the flames of destruction. What would a world look like without wars fueled by gunpowder, without forests devastated by uncontrollable wildfires? The absence of fire wouldn't extinguish our curiosity, but it might make us more cautious, more connected to the natural balance of the earth. After all, what defines our journey isn't just what we discover, but how we use what we discover.